So this week, we're basically going to. You've got a package from me. It's called Boat World, and it's pretty well built up. I'll go over that in one sec. What's going on? But ideally, I'm asking you to write in two. Basically, your work is going to be in two scripts this week, and it's going to be covering basically adding some functionality to to the boat in one scenario, and then updating the boat in one scenario, and then updating one another script to use from mouse control to a touchscreen control. And right now, we're going to be working with a basic level um, of the touchscreen. We'll probably do another touchscreen assignment next week, where we look more on swipes, more on we go in more detail. We'll go in definitely more detail. Um, let's take a look what's going on. So the big things is that we are using the input system, Unity's input system, um, mostly because that's where Unity is going with their input. And the old input system has issues and bugs and things that we don't want to deal with. So we're going to deal with it with the new input system. And then the other side of things is that we will need to do platform dependent compilation code to make sure our code is running properly. So that code that's not on the PC won't show up. So we'll go over that. And then finally, again, we'll update the boat. We'll update the to use touchscreen, and then we'll port it to once we've got those in place, we'll be able to port to an Android device and use the touchscreen as intended. Right now, we're using basically where has a player touched um, on the screen is what we're doing right now. We can so I want to point out this is something that I image that I built for this lecture. Your world basically has three layers. It has a wire layer, a invisible layer that is the floor, and then a ground layer. And kind of like the boat slides across this floor. And yeah, and you can see right here the water is just something on top of it. And when we go look in the scene, you'll see why. And basically, this is just these two layers are just decorative. And that's one of the first things. We have a directional light already. Um, let's actually go into the scene. And one of the things this is actually the project, the package you have right now has actually been updated. So these green little things, lack of better term, are lily pads. Yeah, they're islands. They're effectively islands for our purpose in our assignment. And this is just to give some sense of scale and scope and movement for the ship. Otherwise, it's like we're on the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere. Where are we going? But you can see some detail right here, and that part of that is, part of that detail is from the ground. Part of it is how the water is set up, and you can see again if I go over to this side, you'll see that the floor is invisible. So in that image, that was given a temporary texture to show up for that image, but it is something that's invisible. Um, let's go over a couple things. There's a sail icon, and this is basically this image right here. And under the material, so there's a folder called boats. Under materials, you'll find four versions of this. Like there's a red version, a green version, and a blue version of that. So you can see the seafloor material and the water material right here in the actual icon. So there's things for you to play with if you desire to go above and beyond the requirements. The boat, and so basically it has its route. So basically this is its position. So this is the anchor of it for our purposes. This is the object you'll be moving, setting, and location, and this is the icon is a mesh renderer piece of it. And that's because I was able to, I wanted to set this, I wanted to rotate it in this direction and scale this amount. The other thing I want to point out, all these lily pads are in this stuff folder, and they're just all spheres for our intensity with a green material on it. The other thing I want to point out is that there is a camera root, and the main camera is parented to a camera root. So main camera itself here, it's just the camera and the audio listener. But the root has two scripts, and there is a camera zoom script. So this is, what am I using to? Hold on, I'm blanking. Update. So this has a zoom value that's public. If you wanted to zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, you could just affect this value, and it would basically move the camera in and out. And it's set up to lure. Again, if we look at the script, it is moving on its local position. So basically, it's set up to be in position relative to the root. We're moving the camera relative to its root. The other one is the follow object, and that's basically what we're saying right now is this again a simple script. Basically, on update, game object that changes position, object to follow, translate. So basically, we're just saying, hey, wherever this object is, set our object to that position. So we're following the route of the boat. The boat is set up in a kind of set up in a weird way. There is basically the boat. That's not the correct boat rotation. Prop script, lean control. No, this is the script has been updated. This should say boat controller. Why is that? Just press play to make sure everything's there. Okay, it's saying boat rotation. I have just recently renamed this script to. Oh, you know what? I probably didn't edit the class name. My apologies. Um, so anyways, moving on. This boat rotation script is actually your boat controller script. Um, this is where one of the scripts that you're going to be doing most of the work in this week. All right, and basically right now this script basically has a point towards, and this is basically saying what is the direction of the boat. Oh, there we go. What is the direction of the boat? And this is not normalized. This is just basically the direction and the distance together. And right now, this is running off of using the mouse location. Right. We'll go into the script in a moment, and We'll see what we need to do there. The boat has basically there's the model of the boat, and it's actually very small, like 0.01. I went out, found a boat model for that was free to use, and had to go and do like all sorts of things on it to get it manageable. And it's quite detailed. If you want to go and make this bigger, go right ahead. But this is where the boat model is. It has three parents. Again, the boat. This is the root of the boat. It has a bob root. So if we press play in the scene view, you can see that the boat is moving up and down, and that is to simulate it moving on the sea. Smoke and mirrors. You have access to controls of the boat right here. How high does it go? Like right now, it's only going 0.2 up. I mean, we could do 0.5. We can make it move faster. So lower periods makes it move faster. So if I do 0.1, 0.01, that's too fast. And I gotta stop and because I went too fast. So 0.1. You see it's moving faster, height, and give it a 1, much bigger, Bob. So basically the controls are right here in the script. They're public, so you can get access to the script and change these as you see fit if you want to. I'm going to put this back to 0.2 and 1. Actually, let's stop it. And then there's a lean. And so basically, there's two things here. How much will this boat lean? So it's going to rotate on this purple. Sorry, the blue axis here, the local blue axis of the ship. It's going to lean on that axis. 15% is the most percent. I believe this is from 1 to -1. Like if you go 2, now it's 3 degrees. 3 is 45. 6 is going to be 90 degrees because it's basically 6 times 15. So how much percent are we going? And it's so basically like again 0.5. And the idea is that if as this ship was turning, you could give it lean to lean in the correct direction. This is about animation controls. Maybe you want 20 degrees, and we'll go 0.5. I mean, that's basically 10 degrees of a lean. You can see that up here. So this is a script to control that. How much you max. An idea should be between 0 and 1, but you can go above it. You can go to negative. Actually, -1 is the other side. Negative 0.5. 2. So you can these are things here to play with as you see fit. The last script is in the world object, and it's this screen to roll script, and it's working with the main camera. And the big thing is that this camera, basically, you are going to provide a screen coordinate. And this is the other piece, the other script you'll be working in. Essentially, what this script is doing is basically taking a screen coordinate and casting it into the world. And where it casts, basically, it's going to find a world location. And other scripts basically refer to this script like, okay, where are you looking in the world? Where are you looking in the world? And this is one of the other scripts that you'll be working with this week. So let's go back into Visual Studio. We don't need the follow object. We don't need you. We don't need you. So we have the screen to world, and the other script that I'm going to pull up is the boat controller, which I didn't rename here. So the big variable in this class for you to be concerned about is the points towards. So what direction is the world pointing? The boat is the boat is pointing towards. And basically, this is going through has the point towards variable, which is going to screen the world instance and getting its world location, and then subtracting the current game object location to give us our direction, magnitude, and vector. And right now, this script is just taking that vector and shoving it into the forward direction of the object. One of the things that we can do, if we go back to the boat just quickly, it does have a rigid body attached to it. So again, one of the things that we can do right away is make the rigid body our RB variable. RB is equal to game object get component. Rigid body. And then one of the things that we can do here as well, again, again, we are using the Unity Engine input system. We're going to make a function called get interaction. And actually, we'll make it a Boolean function. Boolean get interaction. We'll have a bool result. Set that to false. And then we'll return the result. We'll come back. There we go, if I spelled that correctly. We'll come back to this. So essentially in here, we'll do an if get interaction. We'll grab, and first thing we'll do is we'll change the direction of the boat, where it's facing. And then we can actually do the rigid body velocity is equal to points towards dot normalized. This is, make sure, yeah, it's a property, times sail speed. Okay, so we need to define sail speed, and that's going to be a public float sail speed, and we'll set this to 2 units. We'll do 2.5, what the heck. So let's go in and complete get interaction. So right now, we're going to use, there is the mouse current, we'll call it current mouse. And it's going to be mouse dot current. And we're going to check if current mouse is not equal to null. And now that we know that we've got the current, we do have the current. One of the things that we can do is if current mouse left button was pressed this frame, and then our result is equal to true. We'll come back here to do some touch. We'll do some touch controls down here. But I want to just get this up and going right now. And we'll come back to Unity. So before, where it was following along like the direction of why is it not? Why is it only moving when I'm pressing? What's going on with the rigid body? Don't use gravity. Constraints, preposition, that's correct. Rotation, that's correct. Why is it? What's resetting? Yeah, but it should be only. I should be setting the velocity, and it should be set. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be reset. It is the issue. Speed. Like I'm not resetting the velocity. This is weird. So just go with is pressed. Let's go with that for right now. Oh, move to pointer, remote controller. What's going on? Move location. Why is this not? What's going on? This is weird. And what's the other one? So this is moving as I hold the mouse button down. So this is, we'll keep this in account right now. I'm not sure why. I don't know why this is not just continuing moving. Let me actually let me move this above. This could be part of what's going on. Let me just check if that's the case. No, that is really weird. I'm not sure why it's being reset, but we'll come back to that later on. All right. So we got the boat moving at this point. Let's go to the screen to world. Let's start here. All right, so we want to run code that's only using on Android or iOS. All right, so we need to go back to here, and there's the platform dependent compilation. They're preprocessor definitions. And basically, this is if pound if, and again, is this the Unity standalone Windows, and then an end if. So everything in between here is going to run if this is the case. For our purposes, there is Unity iOS and Unity Android, and those are the two processors that we want. So what the code is going to look like is pound sign if, and I'm going to go back to the go in here. I'm actually going to grab this Unity iOS, and we're going to use the braces. So this is above the enter key, you've got the curly brace, and then the key next to it is the slash, and then shift key, that's the brace that we're looking at. So Unity iOS, and the other one that we want is Unity Android. Be nice if Windows would copy. All right. And then we want, just to be on the safe side, we make sure we have the end if right here. So all the code in here is only going to run on Unity and iOS. Again, we could wrap this as basically like, hey, don't even bother run this code if you're on, only run this code if you're on like Windows or the standalone application. So, but we'll leave this for right now. On the touchscreen side, there is the touch screen device, which I'll use small case touchscreen, and that's going to be touchscreen dot current. Very much like the mouse. Again, if touch screen is not equal to null, in our case, the result is going to be touchscreen dot position dot read value. I'll give you a moment before I move on. Okay, so this is basically the code that we need to do in the screen to world side of it. I need to save. I am going to grab this line of code because I don't want to type it again. Actually, I'll grab the everything here, and we'll go back to the boat controller script. So in get interaction, I'll drop this in. Let's do an end if right here. So again, we're going to do the touch screen. And it's going to be to the touchscreen class dot current. And again, this is again a if touchscreen is not equal to null. And in this case, we want to go look at touchscreen. And this, again, we can go through, let's actually go through. So, children. So this is the delta, how much it's moved. It's device information. Is it enabled? Layout, name, noisy, parent. Again, we're using position. Press. And that is a button control. This is, again, we can go look at this of like, was presses was released for this frame, is pressed, and we could go in this direction. Touchscreen, noisy, normalize, parent path. The button, the press point, press value. Where's the scale factor? Usages. What is really? I don't want to go back to press. Pressure radius. How big of an area is it the user pressing down? AKA, this is how you can know if your user has fat fingers. How hard are they pressing? You can yell them. You don't have to press so hard. No. Is this the state block? No. You can actually get the individual touches. And we'll talk more about touches next week. Yeah. So next week we'll look at touches, individual touches. Right now we're looking at the touchscreen in a generic way, and I am just going to use pressed. Is pressed, and I'm just going to go basically if touchscreen is pressed, result is equal to true. So basically, we're basically doing the same thing we did with the mouse. We're just doing with the touchscreen down here, and then the end if is right here. And that's pretty much what we need to do this week. Um, again, I'm a little. And I'm going to give the boat sail speed. We'll set this up to like 15. Is it? Let me go back to my boat controller. Let's see. What's dragging it down then? Let's turn off its angular drag. It doesn't need gravity. Yeah, there we go. It was the angular drag. Stop. So yeah, I think the angular drag was part of the issue. So turn off gravity. Gravity was another factor in here as well. Yeah, it was probably gravity. Because basically, the boat, basically, if you open up the boat, the collision right here is basically, let's bring this forward. Basically, it's just this block right here. Let me bring up the ground. I'll turn it. That's the, here's the floor. Let me turn on the mesh render for the floor. So basically, the boat is just basically riding on top of the floor. So let me just turn off the floor again. So it's not actually sailing, it's kind of just sliding across the floor. So the issue I was having is that the boat had drag and was using gravity and was being dragged. Basically, the collision of the boat and the collision of the floor were causing friction and causing it to slow down, essentially. So if I turn off gravity, I don't have to deal with friction. And then I hear me holding the mouse button. And you can get strong. I'm holding that on the mouse button. Something that will happen is that the boat will go up if I go over these humps, the islands. And that's something I could take out. That's something that can be taken out if I wanted to. Yeah, there's ways yeah, basically you can make the boat fly. Um, so is this a perfect system? No. But does it work for our purposes for this assignment? Yes, it does. Are there any questions about this assignment? I know it's pretty straightforward. All right, I'm going to stop the recording right here.